Welcome to Navy Paints, and in this video I'll be painting Eldar Guardian. Let's crack in. Before painting, I've given the model a undercoat of brush on primer from the Army Painter. The first colour here was applied with an airbrush, and this is Yellow Orange Azo from Liquitex. I gave this model 2 coats of this colour, but before applying the second I did wait for the first one to fully dry. When the yellow had dried, I gave the model a real light coat of titanium white from Liquitex, and this was sprayed from above. With the titanium white down, now I'm going back to the yellow orange Azo from Liquitex. All you're looking to do here is just cover over the areas of the titanium white and really brighten up the model. You're not looking to give the model another coat of this, so don't go too heavy, go light until all the white is covered up. Okay, with all the base coat down, now it's time to get into the detail of the model. First colour here is Kantor Blue from Citadel. I've applied this with 2 thin coats over the shoulder plates. Here I was planning out the model at the time, so I didn't paint the tassels on the arms or the belt, but you can go ahead and paint both those areas now with the same colour, as later on I do paint those with the Kantor Blue as well. For his face, I've given him 2 thin coats of Bugmans Glow from Citadel, and this is applied straight from the pot. For his weapon, the material around his neck and the pipe hanging under his arm, I've given them 2 thin coats of Abaddon Black from Citadel. This was mixed with a little water just to help the paint flow over the model. When applying the black, really try to avoid the yellow as much as possible, as this is kind of a hard colour to remove once it does dry. If you do happen to touch the yellow with the black, as quick as possible, just put a little bit of water in the area and wipe it off with a brush or your finger. I've given the hair 2 coats of Steel Drab Legion from Citadel, and this is applied straight from the pot. To break up the yellow of the armour and bring out the definition, I've given the model 1 coat of Agrax Earthshade from Citadel. This is applied over the entire model. The other thing I'm trying to avoid here is mass pooling. If it pulls a little bit, that'll be fine. Try to avoid big areas of pooling if possible. Also, while the paint's wet, I'm trying to work it into all the cracks and crevices to try and separate and define the shapes of the armour. With all the base coats down, now it's time to move on to the highlighting step. This will brighten up the model and give it a bit of life and colour. First colour here I've gone with for the yellow is Daemonic Yellow from the Army Painter. This is applied straight from the pot, and I've applied this paint to all the edges of the model. The amount of highlights you apply to the model is totally up to you. I've gone with almost every edge being highlighted, but you can save a lot of time by just doing half of them. With all the blue areas of the model, I've given them a single highlight of Caledor Sky from Citadel. This is applied straight from the pot. Like the yellow, apply as many or as few highlights as you like. For all the black areas, I gave them a highlight of Filthy Cape from the Amyu Painter, and this was applied the same way as I did the blue and the yellow. To highlight the face, I've gone for a mix of 80-20 Bugmans Glow from Citadel and Matte White from the Amyu Painter, and picked out all the raised and detailed areas of the face with this paint. For the hair, it was just like the skin. It was an 80-20 mix of Steel Drab Legion from Citadel and Matte White from the Amyu Painter. For all the gems on the model, I've gone with Blue Violet from Vallejo. I've applied 2 coats of this paint just to give the gems a good base coat, just being really careful not to get it onto the yellow or any of the other colours. If you do happen to get it on the edge of some of these colours, just go back with your highlight colour and touch it up. There's only about 100 gems per Guardian, so it won't take you too long and won't drive you insane doing these. With all the gems base coated, now I've gone over them with Purple Tone from the Amyu Painter. This was painted straight from the pot, and this is just one thin coat of the wash. For the eyes, I've gone with Corax White from Citadel, and the reason why I've changed to this white is because it's an off-white. Whenever painting the eyes, always be prepared to make mistakes, as it is quite difficult. If you do happen to touch the skin, just go back with your skin highlight and fix it up, it's not a big deal. To avoid having to do that multiple times, just try to be as careful as possible when applying the white. Don't take too long with the paint on the brush, as it does dry out quite quickly. If it does dry out, just reapply the paint to the brush and try again. And for the eyeballs, I've gone with Abaddon Black from Citadel. Same goes for the black as it does the white. Try not to get the paint to dry on the brush too long. When applying the Abaddon Black for the eyeball, I always paint from top to bottom, trying to get a nice straight line. Paint in one eye, take a look what position it's in, and try to match it on the other side, as you don't want your model looking in 2 different directions. For the symbol under his weapon, I've gone with Retributor Armour from Citadel as the base coat. Washed it with Agrax Earthshade, also from Citadel, and then just given it a quick highlight with the Retributor Armour again. Going back to the gems now, I've gone back to the Blue Violet from Vallejo. This is straight from the pot. Choosing one bottom corner of the gem, I've painted each gem about halfway across. Over time, just beginning to add white to the mix. So I've started with an 80-20 mix, then a 60-40 mix, so on and so forth, until I was happy with the result. And just keep painting a little bit less of the gem each time, receding back to the corner that you started in. This is the 80-20 mix of the blue violet and matte white. So with all these next highlighting steps, just paint a little bit less of the gem each time. This is the 70-30 mix of blue violet to matte white. This is the 60-40 mix of the blue violet and matte white. This is the 50-50 mix of the blue violet to matte white. And this last blend is a 40-60 mix of the blue violet and matte white. Once you're happy with your blends and the lightness of the gem, you can go to pure white now. I've gone to matte white from the Amyu Painter again. So on each gem in the lightest corner, I've put just a really thin line of the matte white, and in the dark opposite corner, I've put a dot of the matte white. This will give it a fake reflection and really make the gems pop. The last step of painting, I've gone with a gloss varnish from the Amyu Painter, and I've hit all the gems with one coat of this varnish. Once the varnish dries, I've mounted the model on a base and he's ready for the tabletop. And here he is ready to defend his craft world. Thanks for watching Nephew Paints. If you liked the video, please click the sub button or leave me a like. If there's anything you'd like to see in a future video, please leave a comment in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch ya!